So Michael, over to you.
Right. I was waiting for the recording to be turned on. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to see all the smiling faces here. I think I know one, two, three, a few of you folks I have seen before. So thank you for inviting me back. Tonight, I've been asked not to give a speech. Tonight, I've been asked to do a little bit of education, talk a little bit about Toastmasters International itself, and then also talk about being a public speaker. So for most of you, you're already Toastmasters. You're going to know some of the stuff I'm talking about Toastmasters, but I'm trying to show you how that moves from Toastmasters to being a public speaker. And if you don't want to be a public speaker, you can be a private speaker. You know, that's okay too, to be a private speaker. If you want to be a speaker to your friends or colleagues at work, just a few small groups, you need to know how to articulate, how to speak clearly, and most of all, how to be understood. And if you don't know that, you're going to be in trouble. So we're going to be talking about those things this evening. I'm going to go on screen share here in just a moment. And when I do, I'm going to show you a few slides about Toastmasters and then get more in depth. Certainly, there will be plenty of time for feedback at the end and questions and answers at the end. I don't know who our timer is this evening, but if our timer will please let me know when we get to 25 minutes, I would appreciate it. So that's the only real signal I need is when we get to 25 minutes. Who's our timer tonight?
Yep. So the timer would be Jasmine.
Okay, Jasmine.
Go.
And Jasmine, can you let me know verbally when we get to 25 minutes? Because I won't be able to see the screen. So just let me know verbally. Come on, unmute yourself and let me know, okay? Thank you.
Or you want me to talk to you, or you want me to show you?
I want you to unmute yourself and tell me when it's 25 minutes, okay?
Or I can give you the bell.
I won't be able to see you, dear. I cannot see you. So just go ahead and give me verbal.
Okay, got it.
Okay, we got
So
Beta.
How long is a speech? A micro speech?
Yeah, it's about 1 hour. It's okay, Jasmine. I'll speak to you at the side. Yeah. So Michael, you can go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just let me know when we get there. Okay. So I'm going to be speaking to you this evening, and I'm using a little bit different format than what some of you may have seen before, but it seems to work for me, and I'd like to use it. We'll talk about that when we get to public speaking. But first of all, we need to stop and think about Toastmasters. If you are already a Toastmaster, then you're going to know some of this. If you're not, it may be interesting for you to know about Toastmasters and how you can grow, both as a speaker and as a leader. That capability is possible. Nobody is born a great leader. I don't care who they are. And nobody is born a great speaker. When you're born, you're equal to everybody else. You come out of your mother's womb, you're a brand new, fresh child. It depends on your upbringing, the influence from your parents, the influence from the schools. And then as you become a young adult, maybe the influence from Toastmasters will help you be a better speaker and a better leader. But we don't know until we get to that point, what it's going to turn out to be. So let me go to my slides here. Whoops, too fast. First of all, for Toastmasters, most of you already know this. You know that we have over 300,000 members around the whole world, all over many, many countries, 149 different countries. Started in one country and has grown tremendously. We got 1,500 clubs. That's an awful lot of clubs, an awful lot of people. And we have the same mission for our club as all the other clubs, trying to help people to improve. The purpose of our meetings, why we get together once a week or once every 2 weeks, why we get together is to help members improve their speaking and leadership skills by providing feedback and evaluation in a friendly and supportive environment. Now, I don't like just to show that. I want to talk just a little bit about that. And when I talk about it, I want you to understand there's some key words in that paragraph to improve your speaking and leadership skills. Some of you go to Toastmasters, and when you get involved in Toastmasters, you see, oh, there are pathways, and I will talk about that in a moment. But you signed up for a pathway, and you start that. You're starting your process to learn. But we see that 6 months later, you've only done your icebreaker. 1 year later, you've only done the first 3 speeches. you're going awfully, awfully slow. It's going to be hard for you to grow as a speaker if you're doing your pathway speeches so seldom. The pathway speeches were made to help you grow, but you, the individual, you have to put the effort in. If you don't put the effort in, you're not going to get anything back out of it. Okay? Toastmasters is not going to make you a better speaker by you doing nothing. You must participate. You must be involved. You must practice. So speaking and leadership skills are something that you can get out of this. Also, what we'd like to talk about is that we think that you should be able to find good feedback and evaluations. When we talk about feedback and evaluations, we're talking about the fact that people are going to score you on your speaking. They're going to let you know what you did good. They're also going to let you know what you could do for improvement, and they're going to give you encouragement. You see, if you take a speaking class somewhere in a university or online with some company, you may not get the support you're going to get here. In Toastmasters, you're going to get support like this is your brother or your sister. Sometimes they're a little critical, but they're always supportive because they love you. So that is the best type of feedback. That's what you want. You want to know, what did I do well? Pat on the back. What do I need to improve? Got to get better. And then go forward. And will I have your support? You will get that feedback and evaluation from the members here in the club. Also, it is a very, very friendly environment, very supportive. We have many Toastmasters who have known each other for 10 or 15 years, and they are like family. They know each other's children. They know each other's job. They know each other's character. And some of the characters are really funny. So sometimes we meet people who are very unusual. You heard during the introduction that I'm a member of 5 clubs in 5 different countries. I did that because I've been a globetrotter myself since I was 17 years old, in the military first, and then in my own business around the world. I've worked in 18 different countries. And when pandemic came, it stopped. Boom. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So I turned to Toastmasters and I said, Toastmasters, can I get online and go to a meeting? And guess what? You can go to meetings all over the world. And everywhere you go, if you show up as a Toastmaster, you are welcome. They're happy to have you come into the meeting. They're smiling faces. They're going to ask about you so they can get to know you a little bit and greet you and give you an opportunity to speak at their meetings. These are all things that provide a very supportive and encouraging environment for people. And that's what Toastmasters is all about. We're very friendly, very encouraging, very helpful. If you want to go through the education session of Toastmasters, which you should, you need to understand that this is the club mission. Now, I never saw the mission statement for Miri Toastmasters, but I would be willing to bet you $1 that is awful close, if not exactly like what you see on the screen, because this is the mission for most of the clubs. Provide that supportive environment that I was talking about. Has to be a positive experience. We don't want any negativity. We want you to give positive support. Can be critical, can correct somebody when they make a mistake, but we got to be supportive. And we want them to develop their communications and leadership skills so they develop that confidence. Now, not everybody has the confidence they need. And this is one of the problems we're going to have. I hope you went to the speaker view so you can see the full picture. When we're talking about speaking, most of you, when you started to go to work, you came out of the university, you went to a job, you're there for a year or two, and your boss says, oh, Faisal, I need you to give a report on that project you're doing, and the board of directors are going to be here. So you'll be talking to the board of directors and talk about your project, okay? And Faisal says, what? Okay. He's stuck. He has no speaking skills. He needs to develop those speaking skills. So now he scurries around and asks a few other people, and they tell him, oh, just give him lots of slides. Give him 27 slides. They're all going to be happy. You know how many board of directors want to see 27 slides? They don't. They want to see 4, 6 maximum. That's it. Tell me what you need to tell me, get it over with, and get out. So you're going to need to know how to give a presentation. You're going to need to know how to give the high points. We're going to talk about a lot of other things that you need also as we go through this. But I want you to know that in Toastmasters, you will get the opportunity to do something similar. You can show slides like I'm doing today. You can get on board and give a presentation. You could even practice a work presentation inside of Toastmasters if you have the time. These are all things you can do, but you need to build the number one ingredient, which is confidence. A speaker who has no confidence is not a speaker at all. You need to be confident of yourself. When you walk into that room and you get in front of that lectern, you're standing there, or could be online like we are now, and many companies are going to be online for a long time to come. When you get in front of that camera, you need to know what to say, how to say it, how to move your hands, how to use your voice. All these things are learned inside of Toastmasters. And where do you learn them at? How do you learn them in Toastmasters? Well, if I go back to slide again. Let me go back here again. I should have left this open. I'm sorry I closed it. That's all right. Whoops. Sometimes you make mistakes. When you're in Toastmasters and you join, you have the opportunity to select a pathway. And there are 11 pathways. Now for me, up in the upper left-hand corner, dynamic leadership, that's the one that I chose first. And I can tell you that it doesn't take long to do these things. Now, some people say, but Michael, we're not like you. Well, I understand that. I know you're not like me because I have done 5 pathways in the last 22 months. In less than 2 years, I've done 5 pathways. You don't have to go that fast, but you can if you wish. And there are people who've even done it faster. Out of these 11 pathways, there are so many things to choose. One of them up here is engaging humor on the top row. This one taught me more about public speaking than any of the other ones I went through. Dynamic leadership was the first one I got involved in, then engaging humor, leadership development, motivational strategies, persuasive influence. These are the 5 that I have done. But I can tell you, engaging humor is the one that changed my speaking. It allowed me to say things that are a little bit humorous. The biggest thing it made me do is remember to smile. When you're standing up in front of that board of directors, when you're standing up at that community leaders meeting and you want to say something important, start off with a smile. It's important. And taking these pathways can help you get there. You're going to get one of these pathways when you join and work your way through it. Now, there are 11 pathways, as I mentioned, but they're all focused on public speaking, interpersonal communications, learning to be a better leader, which is part of all these pathways, be a better manager of projects, because you're going to have to manage your own speaking project, and then building your confidence. These are all important, and all 11 of the pathways cover these items. You go step by step by step through it. They're not that hard. Just take some time, take some effort. As I said in the beginning, if you don't put the effort in, you're going to get nothing out of it. You must put some effort into this if you want to become a better speaker. Doesn't matter what you want to do in life, riding a bicycle, riding a skateboard, snow skiing, water skiing, whatever you want to learn, you're not going to do it by just going there and grabbing hold of the rope or just standing on the board. You have to practice. It takes practice and takes some time. If you're willing to do that, though, almost everybody who enters Toastmasters leaves or continues to stay in as a much, much better speaker, much better received by their family, by their colleagues, and by their management team above them, because they know how to speak accurately. So we have 11 pathways. Each pathway is broken down. This is just one of them, dynamic leadership. You start out about talking about the fundamentals. Everything starts with fundamentals. We do the fundamental items first. We want to teach you about hand gestures, body movement, vocal variety, all those things. And then you're going to work on your projects. And by the time you finish this, you will have finished about 17 speeches, projects, things that you need to do. Most of them are going to be 5 to 7 minute speeches, not too long. Some of them might be 10 to 12 minutes. If you choose, there are even some that are 25 minutes if that is something you want to do. So you can go through those. When you finish your pathway, you're going to get a certificate. And the certificate will come from headquarters, Toastmasters International, saying that you are proficient in that particular pathway. If at work, you're trying to get a promotion or you're trying to get a raise or something at work, this is a document that once you have it, you could take it to your HR and say, I took a speaking class. I'd like to have that entered in my personal profile, showing that you're taking classes, showing that you're trying to grow. It can help you. All these things I've been talking about are focused on trying to help you grow as an individual to be a better speaker and a better leader. Now, I'm going to transition here in just a moment from Toastmasters to public speaking. Public speaking means you're going to be out and talking to an audience that you do not know. That's a little bit different than speaking inside Toastmasters. Unless you're like myself, who go to Toastmasters clubs all over the world, and I speak to a lot of clubs that I don't know. I came to this club, I don't know if it was a month or 2 months ago, I came here and spoke, and I knew only one person, but there was about 20 people on board. So that means that 19 people had never seen me before, had never heard of me before, and I got in front of them online to speak. I had to do that by having some confidence, being prepared, knowing what to do. I've also spoken at large conferences where I've had anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people. And that's another game to play because now you have a large audience. Now you're standing on stage with a microphone, with cameras, with prompters, lots of different things to help you. And you still need to have the same confidence. If you learn how to be a confident Toastmaster and a confident speaker inside Toastmasters, you will also do very well when you step outside of Toastmasters into the public. Now, maybe your goal is not to be a big time speaker and speak to large audiences. Maybe you're just going to speak to the people at work. Maybe that's all you want to do. Maybe you've got about 8 or 10 people that you supervise, and maybe you want to be a better speaker for them. Try to get your communications across to them a little bit better. You have a project. You need to sell them on this project so that they're supportive. You need to have the right words, and it needs to be delivered correctly. You learn to deliver that correctly here in Toastmasters. Toastmaster is the place where you're going to practice. Toastmaster is a friendly environment where you can try something and get feedback on it, and then go out and try it in the public. You don't have to walk out in that public for the first time, because I can tell you, once you get out there in public and you go public into a larger audience, there will be some friendly, smiling faces for sure. But there's also going to be some long faces who don't like what you have to say. You can't please everybody. That's normal. You're not going to please everybody, but you can please the majority, and you can do a good job if you're practicing. And Toastmaster is the best place in the world to practice. Now, if you're going to go out into the public, and if you're going to speak to people, especially if they're going to be paying you as a speaker, which I'm not talking about your fees or getting paid for it. You can do it free, or you could do it for a fee. But either way, you're going to need some skills. Those skills are taught to you in Toastmasters. In those pathways that I showed you, when you go through them, you're going to learn how to use body language. Now, I'm going to show you just a moment here. Somebody got their mic on. That's okay. I just adjusted my screen so you could see down to below my chest. You're going to need to know, how do I talk? Do I talk with my hand out in front of me? Do I put my hands in my pocket? Do I move left or do I move right? How do I move on the screen or on stage? On stage, you're going to need to learn how to take the 3-step dance. 1, 2, 3 left, 1, 2, 3 back to center, and then 1, 2, 3 to the right, and 1, 2, 3 back to center. You need to learn how to move. What body gestures? Is it really going to be big? How big is it? Now, if it's too big, your hand's off the screen. Off the screen. We don't want that. So you got to make sure they're in the screen. How big is it? Or how small? And if you're on camera, if you're on Zoom or you're online, do you ever step in for an impact? It was really important. Do you know how to move? I know it sounds a little funny, But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Do you know how to move? Do you know what to do with these silly hands? You know, these hands go all over the place. When you're trying to talk and you're up there on stage, they're flapping. Some people are flapping. They're birds. They go, hey, I'm flapping. You know, some people talk that way. Some people make the mistake of having a sheet of paper in their hand and they're waving a piece of paper while they're talking. You have to learn how to manage your hands. You have to also learn how to stand. I went to a Toastmasters meeting recently and the girl was doing left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. And she would just, while she was speaking, she just kept going back and forth. She looked like a bouncing ball. She didn't have good body language. You need to learn how to use that. You also need to learn effective vocal variety. By vocal variety, I mean, do you talk a little bit louder and also a little bit softer? If you're talking about multiple people, if you're giving a speech or talking about myself and my brother, or my brother and me, if I want to talk about them, I might say, this is me. And I said to my brother, how are you? And my brother said, I'm okay. You can vary your voice for impact. A lot of voice variations out there, talking faster. You can talk very fast so everybody can understand, or you can talk very slow so everybody can understand. It's up to you. You need to use a variety to keep people's interests. And the most important ingredient, if you want to be a good speaker inside Toastmasters or in the public, most important ingredient is being memorable. Why in the world would you get up and speak after all the time you practiced, all the preparation you did, you show up to give your speech and you're not memorable? Why would you do that? Makes no sense. You want to be remembered. Your speech should have some sort of impactful statement. I'll give you an example. One of the ones that I use frequently when I'm giving large presentations at conferences on leadership is a phrase that I have. If you take care of the people will take care of the process. You got to have a message. And if you got that message, you use it at the beginning, you support it in the middle, and then at the end, you close the same way. So you need to think about being memorable. What can you do? How do you look when you go on stage or on camera here online? What do you look like? Are you wearing a sloppy old t-shirt and you don't look so good? Or are you dressed up? Are you wearing a coat and tie? I don't normally wear a tie, but sometimes I do, depending on the meeting. How do you look? What's your background like? Do you have a solid background like I do, or do you have a very, very busy background? If you got a very busy background, people are going to be looking at the background instead of looking at you. You're in front of them to be the speaker. You don't want to have them disturbed by what's around you. All these things I am talking about are taught to you in the pathways. And then you have the opportunity to apply them in your speeches during your meetings. Now, the meetings also in Toastmasters also have roles. Some of you know about being the table topics master. You will see that later today in this meeting. You have a timer. Jasmine is our timer today. You have an counter or a grammarian. You have other people who are playing roles. If you're in Toastmasters, never, and I'm going to repeat this, never pass up the opportunity to take one of those roles. If your vice president of education contacts you and says, oh, we need a grammarian. There's nobody. We had a grammarian. They dropped out the last minute, either because they got sick or maybe because of work or something. I need somebody to fill in a grammarian. You can do it, especially if you have never done it before. Go do it. Inside Toastmasters, there are checklists for every one of the roles that you can take. Everyone. They're all that checklist. Go on Toastmasters International, download your checklist before the meeting, use that as you go through, and it gives you the words. You don't even have to think up the words. You can just read it right off the script. It's already written for you. How to introduce table topics, how to introduce grammarian, how to introduce counters, timers role, all those things. They are already scripted for you if you want to. Once you have given those a few times, that's where the fun comes. This is where you get to be really creative. You get to do something different. Now, myself, I like being the sergeant of arms. I'm the sergeant of arms for two of my clubs. on the executive staff. I open their meetings. And every time I open a meeting, I find my own background to match the theme of the meeting, So once I have that, then I can start the meeting. And I usually start it by countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening. How are all you doing there? We are happy to have you here tonight for our meeting. We have an exciting meeting scheduled for you tonight. The theme is Broadway, and we're going to be talking about Broadway shows and using examples for Broadway shows in our speeches tonight. And you're going to be surprised. It's not only going to improve your vocal variety and your body language, it's also going to make you a little bit shorter. Wouldn't that be nice if you were a little bit shorter? You can get as creative as you want inside of Toastmasters, and nobody is going to say, you can't do that. That's not the way Toastmasters works. Toastmasters is supportive. If you do some things wrong, somebody might make a recommendation to you off to the side, give you a little feedback, but we want to see you be better. Because when you want to become that public speaker and you step out of the Toastmasters arena and into the public arena, your livelihood may depend on it. Because if you give that first public speech and you bomb and you feel terrible about it, you may not ever do it again. You probably won't bomb out with your first public speech, but it may have been a little bit better if you had prepared more or practiced more. I don't know. But when you're out there to give public speeches, you have to understand the same thing you need to understand in Toastmasters. And people forget this all the time. Who are you delivering the speech to? To your audience. You're giving them a speech. Now, do you want to give them a speech that they don't care about? Do you want to give them a speech that's not prepared? You want to give them a speech that doesn't make sense? I don't think so. You want to take a little bit of time, get to know your audience, and then deliver. If you're going to do it in the public arena, you want to study a little bit the company or the organization where you're going to be. Now, I go to some conferences, and whenever I'm going to go to conferences as a speaker, I contact the coordination team who's setting up the conference and find out what do they want. I'll give you an example. This coming Sunday morning, my time 2 in the afternoon, but their time 8 in the morning in Toronto, I'm going to be going to their conference and giving them a speech on leading geographically separated teams, because that's what we have in the world right now. We have people who are working remotely. It's the same thing
Michael,
in Toastmasters.
25
Thank you very
minutes
much.
past.
Thank you. It's just like that in Toastmasters. When you're in Toastmasters, you may be working with people who are in different cities. Let's take your own club here, the Murray Club. You might be working with somebody who's up in Singapore, or somebody who's up in KL, or somebody who's over in Hong Kong who are attending your meetings. You need to coordinate with them and be able to work time zones and coordinate. Right now, you're coordinating with somebody who's 5 hours behind you. I'm 5 hours earlier than you are, but you can connect. You just need to practice on how to do that. And today in the work environment, more and more companies are geographically separated, not all in one place. So I measured my audience. I talked to a few people, found out what they wanted, build my speech around that. You see, you got to remember who your audience are and deliver for them. If you deliver for your audience, people will be happy. And that's what you want. I don't think anybody out there wants to go out and give a speech where their audience is not happy. That's not a desire, I don't think. You're not going out there to make them angry. You might be going out there to convince them to do something different that they haven't done before. You might be going out there to give them a different viewpoint than they have ever heard before. You know, I think that all the money around the world should all be one. We should have one currency. The whole world should have one currency. If we had one currency around the whole world, everything would be better. That sounds like a silly idea. But I could give a speech about that and say, trying to convince people that we should have it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I would have to do my homework. I'd have to study it a little bit. I have to develop my speech, and I have to make impact. And I remember what it says over here. It says memorable. It must be memorable. And this is something that people miss out on. Don't forget to be memorable. You put the hours in, you put the time in. You did the work to develop your speech. Don't you want somebody to remember it? You want to give it one time and then be forgotten? I don't think so. You want people to remember who you are and what you spoke about. So try to make it memorable. You do that, it's going to make you much more successful than before. So I have given you some ideas about Toastmasters and also some ideas about public speaking. If you will put your computer back, or your computer back on speaker view, because I just dropped out of my slide share. I think that all of you can be good speakers. I have seen hundreds, maybe 1,000 by now, I don't know, but hundreds of speakers around the world in 5 different clubs grow step by step by step incrementally to become a better speaker. I didn't see the screen if we have any DTMs on board. We might have a distinguished Toastmaster or two in the club. I don't know. Eventually, if you go through your pathways and you do some other things besides just speaking, you can become a distinguished Toastmaster, which is one of the highest levels you can get in Toastmasters. But that takes some time. That takes some effort. You don't get there overnight, and you don't get there without work. It does take time. If that is your desire to become a better speaker, only at home, that's fine. Only at work, that's fine. In your community, that's fine. Being an external public speaker, that's best. But any of those levels that you want, you can get there through Toastmasters. Toastmasters can help you reach that level that you want to reach. So at this time, I'd like to open up to questions and answers, because I hope there are some questions, and we will discuss those online and see if I can't help you answer a few things. So I suggest that those people who do not have their camera on, if you'll turn your camera on, anybody who raises their hand, you can either physically raise your hand or use the reaction button on the bottom. On the bottom of the screen, it says reactions, and then it says raise hand. I'm going to raise mine just to show you what I'm talking about. So you might have the little hand in the upper left-hand corner. You can either use that or raise your physical hand. If you raise your hand, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Questions, please. Come on. Don't be bashful. We got a young one in the crowd. That's good. He's going to be a future Toastmaster. All right. Yay, future Toastmaster there.
Yeah, Michael. I have find that vocal variety and body language is very, very hard to master. Do you have any tips for us?
Yes. The young man who has a young son down there. I would practice. I'm a grandfather of 4. I would tell you, go practice making that young man laugh. Yeah, it sounds silly. It sounds silly, but I tell you, it works. Now, you can do it with your spouse. If your spouse doesn't get angry with you, if your spouse will tolerate you, say, hey, dear, you know what? I caught this really big fish, but it was only, it was only that big. I got one hand here, one hand here. I'm telling her the fish is only this big, but I say, well, I caught this really big fish. You can use those type of gestures, or you can say something was running down the hill, or I'm sorry, rolling down the hill. You can use rolling. You can use side. You can say it went from east to west. It went as fast as the bullet. Lots of things like that you can do gesture-wise. What you don't want to do body language-wise, I'm going to move my camera again. Don't get into preacher mode. Don't be here with your fingers like this. You don't want your fingers tied together. You don't want your fingers out here. You don't want your fingers praying. That's not good. This is not a religious class. This is Toastmasters. So get those hands out. You also don't want to have, and I'll move the camera again one more time. You don't want to put your hands in your pocket. You don't want to be speaking with your hands in your pocket. That's not good. 2 things are wrong. One, there's no body language because your hands are in your pocket. The other is your belly showing. So you don't want those, okay? You want to do better than that. So you have to think about your body language. Your question about vocal variety, I don't find that difficult for me, but I know a lot of other people do. Practice speaking fast. I'm going to tell you about this, and I want you to understand everything I said. Also practice. I'm going to tell you about this, and I want you to understand everything I said. You see 2 different speeds, very, very different speeds. And I also might say, and he said, wow. I didn't say he said, wow. I could just say, well, he said, wow. That's the same tone I normally talk in. But when I want to add impact, vocal variety, I mean, he said, wow, that was great. You see the difference? Or when I'm talking seriously to people about leadership, sometimes I say, you just need to have a little.
Did we lose him for a while? Or is it just me?
Yeah, I lose him too.
Yeah, same
Ah.
here.
Okay, let me check with him.
I was very good at still motion.
Oh, wow.
We've
Okay, I
lost
think,
him.
yeah, I think we lost him for a bit. I've already
back,
dropped
back,
him a
back.
message. Is he back
He's
now?
back here, I think. Yeah, yeah.
I think he's rejoining. Okay, so let's wait for a while. Yeah, yeah. So like so far it's quite interesting. Yeah. So I think he covered quite a lot of things lah on what Toastmasters is, the overview, and the fact that it covers every scenario, whether you want to speak within a small group or become an external speaker. And also, the part that I also find very difficult is always the vocal variety, because I'm always quite monotonous. Okay.
Maybe next time just invite him to talk about vocal variety or body language,
Yeah.
just on the one topic,
Yeah.
I tell you, Faisal, for vocal variety, you have to take drama classes.
Drama
Really?
classes. Okay.
They do a lot of vocal varieties in
Oh,
acting.
okay.
Yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should consider then. Are you in any of the drama classes, Jay? I
Yeah,
know
when
you
I
are
was
in
in
writing.
school, yes.
Oh,
when I
okay,
was
when you were in
we
school.
have
Okay.
to do drama.
Okay. Okay. But you're in a writers club now, yeah?
Sorry?
Right now you are in a
Oh,
writers
yes.
club.
I'm in
Yeah.
the English Writers Club of Miri.
Okay. Right. So maybe while waiting for Michael, I know that we have some guests on here.
Yeah,
So
get them
yeah,
to introduce themselves.
yeah, maybe you guys can introduce yourself, or you have questions on Toastmasters in general, because we do have some members within the audience here that can answer your question.
Yeah, we have what? Asha
Yeah.
Kling is new. Alfinzia is new. And we have Golden.
Golden.
Lovely name, Golden. Yeah? And then we
I have a question
Mastia.
actually. What does TTM stands for?
Table Topics Master.
Oh, I see.
You'll find out later.
All right.
Dangerous talking machine. That's what we learned, yeah?
So is in DTM as in reference to Distinguished Toastmaster or TTM?
TTM, the one besides your
TTM.
name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Table
it's Table
Topics
Topics
Master.
Master.
I see. All right. So it's really interesting for me. I mean, I've heard Toastmasters when I was studying in university, but I've never joined it. If I knew what it was, I would have joined it. And now, yeah, it's really interesting. It focuses on leadership and all. And to get the leadership, you need confidence. And of course, to be confident, you need to talk.
Practice.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
Need to learn by.
Hey, Muhammad Ashra, can you say something about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Sheikh Muhammad Ashrawi, but it's too long. So commonly people call me Awi, A-W-I-E, which is the end of my name,
Oh.
Ashrawi.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
yeah, I studied in Curtin actually. That's where I meet Matilda Omei. As I
Are
know
you
her.
still studying in Curtin?
No, it's been I hope I'm
Okay,
still
graduated.
studying there though. I've graduated, I think, 3 years ago. So now I'm working with JKR.
Oh,
But
JKR Sabah.
yeah, yes.
Ah,
But I
okay.
don't handle the roads though.
Oh,
So
okay. Which part of the infrastructure are you handling right now?
I'm handling mechanical actually.
Mechanical. Okay.
Yeah. So I am safe from the public.
Yeah. Because there's always a lot of complaints on the road.
Yes.
It's always a common scapegoat, yeah.
Yes.
When you work for JKR.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was invited here by May, and I really look forward to the table. What was it again?
Table
Table
topics.
topics.
Yeah.
Table topics. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't be harsh tonight. Just treat it as a conversation, icebreaking filler in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just get ready.
But we have Asha Kling. Hello, Asha. You there?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Can
evening,
you
all.
put your camera on so we know
I-
who we are talking to? Can you
But
introduce
I-
yourself, Asha?
I have anxiety.
We all have. Don't worry. We all have.
Yeah, even Jay is not turning on his camera, so but nevertheless, it's a friendly environment. Yeah, so yeah, it's okay.
My lighting is very poor, so I usually do not turn on my camera because it's very hard to get the right, exposure. Yeah? But I will when I speak later. Papa, we have another guest. I think we have another guest, yeah? Alfinzia, is it? Anat Kaon. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. You got the
Hello.
camera on?
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
All right. There we
Yeah,
are.
hello,
Thank you.
Alfincia.
Hello, Alfinzia.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Are you based in Miri, Alfincia?
Yeah, I'm currently in Miri. Just
Okay,
moved here last April.
okay,
Yeah.
welcome to Miri then. You moved here
Thank
for
you.
work or for other things? Yeah.
For new life experience.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome
so
to Miri.
welcome to
Thank you.
Miri. It's actually a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, to live.
She's enjoying it there.
Okay. Oh, it's a friend.
I'm actually from Kuching.
Okay.
Yeah, but studied in Sabah and stayed in Sabah for 10 years already and moved here. I followed my husband. He transferred here for work. Yeah,
Okay.
I had been interested in joining Toastmaster, specifically public speaking. Yeah, since long time ago. Yeah, my dream is actually to talk in public. Yeah, but I don't really have that skill yet. So I am very interested in how to say in developing my leadership skill and also speaking skill. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you came to the right place.
yes,
It's a place to
the
practice
right
because
platform.
yeah.
Well done.
So
Well done.
yeah,
Alfinzia.
yeah.
Well
Thanks,
done.
thanks for
you.
joining. And also later on we can share more about the membership detail if you're interested.
Oh,
Even if you are still considering, you are always welcome to join as a guest in our next meeting. You know, just to get to know or get a taste of how Toastmaster is, and if it's the right fit for you, then we will be more than happy to welcome you.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I know, do we have any platform for future practices or in real
As
practice?
in face to face.
Yes, face to face.
Yeah, we do. Sorry, we do plan to have a face to face meetings. That's what we did before COVID came into place, and right now we are gearing towards hybrid meeting. So meaning to say we do both face to face and virtual at the same time. We've done it once, and I think it's something that is doable in the long run, especially since nothing beats face to face interaction, especially the informal conversations that you have in between the session. I think that that's something that a lot of us have missed for a long time. So yeah, so yeah, we do have a platform for practicing. Yeah, in
In
face to
Miri.
face.
You-
Yeah, in Miri. Yeah, usually. Yeah.
You should come to Miri, Awi.
More reasons to fly to Miri.
Yes.
Yes.
Come back, Awi. We had our last hybrid meeting in March, I believe.
Yeah, in March before the fasting month. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
hybrid as in you have people in
Yeah.
Zoom and you have
Yeah, people in
Right.
face to face. Yeah. So we connect the laptop, the microphone, and all those things. And actually, it worked quite well. Actually, surprisingly well. That it was quite enjoyable. For example, Abel, myself, Matilda, we were physically at Genesis, so it's a co-working space, and Jasmine as well. Then Jay, and a few others were joining virtually. Even Dr. Love was around physically, and worked quite well. Yeah, because
Yeah.
especially since we do have some members who are not in Miri at the moment. Some also prefer to stick to virtual since some are still quite wary about the pandemic. Yeah, so it's a quite an it's I think it's a future. Yeah, is how we were supposed to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I recall we also had guests from Indonesia as well on that night. We had a few from various
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, we had some guests from Indonesia. Yeah, giving a prepared speech on that day. Yep.
We have
But,
another guest, yeah? Golden, is it? Golden, would you like to say something about yourself?
Hello.
Oh, Golden.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Faisal.
Hey, okay. Oh, I didn't know it was you. Okay, good to see you, man. Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm actually a TMI, like Toastmasters International KL member. And my president just encouraged me to drop by at different clubs just to explore how different clubs function. Because sometimes he said, you can learn a lot of things by joining different clubs. You don't necessarily have to stick to just KL. So I'm just here stopping by, and I might be leaving soon. But the reason why I'm here is because of Faisal. I knew him back in university, and I thought this week's Toastmasters session is quite interesting because you guys are talking about things about Toastmasters, vocal variety, body language. So I'm just dropping in for a while.
Yeah, good to
Very
see you,
good.
Golden.
Very
Yeah,
good.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Very good.
Golden.
thank you.
So you've been a member for how long already?
Since January only.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so still relatively
Yeah.
new. I
About
just
4
finished
months,
my
huh?
ice breaking speech. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. And you're now still based in KL or?
Yeah, I'm based in KL.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while, I think, since uni days. Yeah. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to have you.
Yeah, very good. Very good, Golden. Anybody else like to introduce themselves to our guests?
I think those are our only guests at the
Yeah.
moment. I recall there were a few, but they probably dropped out because of the line or
Yeah.
they had other things.
Michael said he's joining shortly, so we'll see how he should
Maybe-
be joining.
Sorry, Faisal. Maybe we should ask Cynthia again to speak, yeah? Because Cynthia is very new to our club. It's a good idea to speak again. Is it all right with you, Cynthia?
Unless she's driving, because I think she mentioned she's driving and
She's-
listening in. Yeah, she's just listening in.
It's a
Yeah,
long distance. Eh?
Yeah.
It's nearly 9 o'clock.
yeah.
All right. Anybody else willing to speak?
Kevin, how's your weight loss journey? Been exercising at home?
Kevin, yes, Kevin.
Our guest.
Kevin
Yes.
and Louis, yeah?
Yeah.
our two very
Yeah.
good guests.
The brothers, the Chew brothers from Kidurong.
Yeah, they are both very, very exuberant, very jovial, exuberant, exciting.
Okay, Michael is joining in.
Okay, great.
Hello, Michael. Okay, using the phone. Okay. You're still muted at the moment, Michael. We can't hear you yet. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I lost my signal and I had to go a different route. And so I'm using my cell phone now instead of
Okay.
my computer.
Okay, it works well. Yep, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got cut off, but I hope I answered Jasmine's question about body language and vocal variety. It is difficult, but you just need to practice it. And I recommend you practice with your kids or grandkids or your spouse. Make them laugh. Do something funny. Do something unusual. Try and tell them a little story with your hands and they don't know what the words are to go with it. See if they can understand it. Play some games with folks. You know, these are not complicated techniques. These are simple techniques, but people make them complicated by first saying, I can't do it. And as soon as you say, I can't do it, it becomes very difficult. It is not easy for you. You want to make it easy, build your confidence. Try some of these things. Try reaching out and doing something unusual or different. I think you're going to be surprised by it if you do it. You're going to find out that it's not so hard and it's something that you should do if you want to become a better speaker, both Toastmaster speaker or professional speaker. I'm trying to connect here in just a moment so I can get back on my screen and get away from my phone while I'm talking. I should be able to do it here shortly. But I think that you need to be ready. You need to have, and also for myself, I didn't turn on my backup stuff today because this was not a professional speech. This was a Toastmaster speech. Otherwise, I would have had a second computer already on and waiting. I do that normally when I'm going to give a professional speech, that I normally have it backed up. So if somebody will let me in just a moment here. It should be coming on screen. Faisal, yourself or somebody else, hold on a second. Yep.
Still waiting.
It says I'm trying to get admitted now. You should see that on your screen.
I don't see it yet. I'm not too sure why.
Oh, where's it at? You see, this is something else.
Okay, yeah. Now I see it.
You can't get flustered by this. If you get flustered by this, you're in the wrong job and in the wrong place. Just relax, take your time, go through it again, and you'll get online. You'll be all right again. So now I'm waiting on my computer screen, waiting for somebody to let me in. So there you go. Got it? And use my computer audio. And now I should be back talking to you again. But what I need to do now is I need to make sure I turn off my cell phone. Otherwise, you're going to hear echoes.
Yeah. I like your green screen, by the way, Michael. It looks very professional. You're muted, by the way. Michael, you are currently muted. Yeah. Okay.
With a background back here, green screen behind me, I can put a bookshelf, I can put an office, I can put whatever I want behind me when I'm speaking. Often I use a blue curtain just for myself. I think you saw that at your last meeting when I was
Yeah.
here. I
Yeah.
use a dark blue curtain. It comes across very well, but it just depends on what you want to use for your background. When you have a green screen like I do, see, I can put you right in the middle of St. Petersburg. You're in St. Petersburg right now. St. Petersburg, Russia. That's a basilica, not the basilica. That's the church, the Blood of Christ Church behind me. And this is the museum on the left-hand other side of me. I can put you anywhere in the world or whatever for background if you have a green screen. Now I can move my hands and it's not so bad. If you don't have a green screen, when you have a background, there's a lot of color on your head. You get green color around your arms and all that. So you can use a background. Okay. I'm sorry I was gone. I took more time than I should have. Can we got time for one more question? Then we'll move
Yes,
on.
we do. Yeah, yes, we do.
Question, someone? Anybody? Yeah,
Sheikh,
Sheikh,
yeah.
Sheikh's got his hand up. Go ahead, Sheikh.
Hello, Michael. I'm just wondering from your past experience, right? Is it possible for someone with stuttering be a good speaker?
Absolutely, absolutely. Boy, I'll have to take your note and send you his name. I just listened to a guy who's a member of what they call the Virtual Speakers Association. He's a professional speaker. He's been speaking now for 15 or 20 years. I listened to him talk yesterday. When he was a child, when he was in high school, even into college, he was a stutterer. Stuttered when you couldn't get the words out. Now he's about 45, whatever. Now he's a professional speaker, and that's what he does for a living, is speak professionally. He learned how to stop stuttering. It was a hard lesson to learn, but he learned. He had to go to a doctor, not a regular doctor, but a speech therapist. And the speech therapist helped him learn how to slow down and speak one word at a time first. And then after a period of time, learn how to make it normal speed so he could speak normally. But yeah, he was a stutterer. So if you're a stutterer, you can do that. Almost any bad habit can be overcome except for picking your nose. If you're a nose picker, you don't want to be a speaker. You know, so it's not a good idea to be speaking and pick your nose. But otherwise, you see, that's what I'm trying now. Almost all of you are smiling. Why are you smiling? Because I made you smile. And as a speaker, that's very important when you're speaking. Doesn't matter if it's a Toastmaster speech or a business speech. When you're talking to people, you want people to agree with you. So get them to smile. Say something a little bit humorous. Doesn't have to pick your nose, but do something a little bit humorous, something to get them involved. Okay, another question. Mr. J,
Michael,
you got a question for me?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Michael. Yeah, just a moment. Yeah, my lighting is not so good. Now I'm outside.
Okay.
All right, now my question for you, Michael, is when you do your body language, whether it's a gesture or whatever movement that you might want to employ, how do you make your body language complementary to your speech? How do you do that?
I practice. And let me explain what I mean. There's two different ways to practice. So let me explain both of them. If I'm online, like right now I'm online. If I'm online, I have to remember I cannot measure something like this. Because look at how big my hand is in front. It's bigger than my head. That isn't very good. That's not good body language. If I'm going to say something's big, I got to bring them both to the same position of my head and say they're this big from here to here. That's body language by practice. If I'm on stage, if you're live, you can put your hand forward or backwards or over top. You can put your hand wherever you want if you're live on stage or in front of an audience. But when you're on camera and you're going to use body gestures, remember that camera makes everything bigger when you go close. When I move, this hand's okay, but when I move this hand closer, look how big that hand is. That's out of proportion. That's not good. Okay. So, and body language, if you're going to stand like I am, right now I'm standing, my feet are about the same width as my shoulders, directly below me. Now, I want to add impact with body language on something I want to say. I want to tell you something important. So if I want to tell you something important, I'm going to move towards the screen. Now, how did I get so close to the screen and kept my head in the middle? You see, my head's in the middle now, and my head's still in the middle here. How did that happen? What I did was I kept one foot solid. I don't move it. The other foot, I step forward. Both legs, I have to bend. So what I'm doing is standing with 2 feet. I'm going to move my right foot forward and keep my left foot solid, and I'm going to bend both of my knees. And if I do that, I can move right into the center of your screen, and then I can come back. But I had to bend my knees, and I want to stay centered. Again, body language movements. Just takes practice. If you've got Zoom and you're watching Zoom now, it doesn't matter if it's on your phone or your computer. You can practice all these things. Do what I do. Go out there and either get a cup of coffee or go get a cold beer, which is cold beer is even better. Get a cold beer and start practicing with a cold beer or a cup of coffee if you don't drink. But tell yourself, talk to your bottle, talk to your cup, talk to your cup. And say, oh, Mr. Cup, look at, I'm in front of the screen. It's hard to see the camera right now. There we go. My Toastmaster cup. See, it gets bigger and it gets much, much smaller. How did this cup get so much bigger and so much smaller? By moving forward towards the screen and away from screen. Keep that in mind when you're doing body gestures, when you're doing body movement. On stage, that's another different thing. Here, I'm not going to walk 3 steps to the left and 3 steps to the right. 6 steps total, max, no more than that. I'm not going to do that here because it's too far. Here, if I take 1, 2, about 1.5, not even 2 steps, I'm at the edge. And then if I go the other way back to the middle, 1, 2, I'm almost at the edge again. If I take a 3rd step, I'm off screen. You don't want that. Another problem, when you're doing body language, Jay, and this is something you're going to see a lot of people do, Jay. When they come in, they're up here, they're talking like this. Okay? They're talking like this, you just cut off the top of your head. Don't cut off the top of your head. And the other one is, and I'm going to pick on Jasmine for just a moment here. I don't mean to be embarrassing, Jasmine, but if I'm Jasmine, now I got my head sitting on a table. See how her head's sitting on a table? That's not, that talking head on the table is not what she wants to be. Okay, you don't want to be up here where your head's cut off, and you don't want to be down here where your head's on the table. You want to make your head somewhere approximately in the middle of the screen. Now, if you look at Matilda got closer, but she kept her head in the middle of the screen. Not up, not down, not on the bottom, not on the top. She's in the middle. That's okay if you're going to just do close. If you're going to be a speaker today, you don't want to be that close. That's not a good Toastmaster speaker. That's too close. For a Toastmaster speaker like I'm doing today, you need to back up, stand up, and get at least below the middle of your chest, maybe your rib cage or so, wherever that's at. You want that showing. So these are all body movements, things that you can do to be a better speaker. So you see right now, Faisal standing up, that's good. And I did see him deliver a speech and he did stand up when he spoke. Just be careful though. One of the problems that I saw when he was speaking, he got a little too close and his head went off the top of the screen. So just be careful about that. And right now he's got words up there. It says Miri Toastmasters Club. You don't see no words on top of mine because I don't want to put my head in the middle of those words. These are all little things that body movement, body gestures that you need to think about. Okay. Toastmaster Faisal, I think that's about enough for today. I think I've given you information about Toastmasters and how you can take Toastmaster ideas, take it into the public and be a public speaker. But 2 things are critical as takeaways today. 1, if you're going to speak, make it memorable. Speak about something that the audience is going to want to hear and remember, which that adds impact. That's the first thing, got to be memorable. Second thing, confidence. When you show up and you're going to start your speech, within the first 10 seconds, your fellow Toastmasters or the guest, if it's a public one, know if you are confident or not confident in the first 10 seconds. Tell yourself, I can do this. I can give this speech. I can be successful. Tell yourself that before you start. I know some of you won't believe yourself, even though it's you talking to you, you still won't believe it, but tell yourself that that I am confident I will be successful. I will get through this today. With confidence and make your speech memorable, you'll do well. So thank you all very much. I'm going to hang around for the rest of your meeting, but thank you all very much for inviting me. And I may be back again. If Faisal sends me another invite, we may happen. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmasters Michael, for the very insightful public speaking workshop, and also touching on the overview of Toastmasters, what it offers to everyone here, as well as some of the key ingredients that makes a good public speaking. So now we shall give a taste on how Toastmasters work by having a session called the Table Topics. So for this session, I'm going to invite our Table Topics Master, TTM Matilda Brain, to conduct the Table Topics session. And Matilda, I'll leave it to you to introduce what Table Topics is. And now it's all yours. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Faisal. So, hi everyone. I think for the benefit of our first-time guests to our meeting tonight, I'll just explain briefly about the typical format of a Toastmaster meeting. So it's usually divided into 3 sections. The first one would be the prepared speeches, where you are evaluated for it. You do an assignment and then you get evaluated at the end. The second one is table topics, and then of course evaluation. Now, firstly, of course, it's straightforward. When I mention prepared speeches, it means you are given time to prepare for it. Whereas for table topics, the goal is to basically learn. Table topics basically trains you to think on your feet and to think critically. So in essence, it's impromptu speaking, right? So I think for this session, it would be best if we have volunteers. So first come, first serve. Once a question gets chosen, then it's no longer being offered on the table. So how it works is that every participant gets 2 minutes to speak. So if you can see Jasmine there, Jasmine is our timer. So Jasmine will flash the green card when you have reached 2 minutes. She will flash the yellow card when you have reached 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And last of all, she will flash the red card when you reach 3 minutes. So that is a sign you need to wrap up your topic. Okay. So I hope everything is clear. So
Matilda, the time is 1 minute is green, 1.5 minutes is.
Sorry, yeah. 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1 minute is green, 1 minute and 30 seconds is yellow, and 2 minutes is red. Sorry, I got it.
So basically everything you said minus
yeah.
1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a bit of confusion there.
Yeah,
Oh.
sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you for highlighting that, Jasmine. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, Faisal. Okay. Let me know if my screen is showing. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to share.
Is it showing now?
No.
Still loading. Okay.
Oh,
can
it
see it now.
says Zoom quit unexpectedly.
But we can see it now.
You can see it now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is good. Okay. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, I would like to invite an experienced Toastmaster as a volunteer first to demonstrate to our guests. So is there anyone who would like to?
I would like to nominate distinguished Toastmaster Eveltan to take the first and demonstrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
Abel?
And give me option number 1.
Option number 1. Okay, so Jasmine, get ready with timer. Option number 1. Oh, by the way, all questions tonight are, I try to keep it slightly low level so that everyone can practice, okay? So don't worry, I'm not harsh with anyone tonight. So here's option number 1. How would you describe your ideal day for relaxing? So DTM Abel, once again, how would you describe your ideal day for relaxing? And the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Right, my ideal day of relaxing is a day where I don't have to worry about my work, don't have to worry about anything, and basically just enjoy myself. I remember Many years ago, I decided to go and visit a place called Barrio. It's a highland. Now, for those of you who have been to Barrio, you realize that as you take a very small plane, like in a Twin Otter, very, very small plane, and then you look around, the whole place is just mountainous and jungle. And then lo and behold, before the plane start to touch down, you can see there's a small community. There's a small community that is located in the middle of nowhere. And that was where I went. And apparently this Barrio Highland is a place where it's quite cold during the night. And I brought my guitar back then, and I worry about nothing. I don't have family, and I just went there. I went there, and I just enjoy myself. I went hiking, sit somewhere, play my guitar, and just worry about nothing. So I believe, and there wasn't any distraction. I remember during the night time, it was just a small lamp, basically, because that place had no electricity. They had to run by generator. And I talked to the host, and that was how I used the time. And that, I believe, is my ideal day of enjoying myself. That's all. Back to you.
Thank you, DTM Abel, for sharing. So I think I just got a feedback that the screen is not large enough. So I'm going to stop my sharing, my screen sharing, and then later I will verbalize the question for your reference. Okay. So I'm going to stop this now. Okay, is my screen no longer visible? No. Okay. Thank you. So there you have it. We had DTM Abel demonstrating the first table topic question. So may I know if any of our new guests would like to give it a go? Anyone? Or perhaps I should pick someone first. Maybe we'll go for a second demonstration. Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, yes, but
Yep. Kevin,
why
so
am I always in this example?
because we love you.
Uh,
So, yeah.
Okay.
So Kevin, you will be our second table topics demonstrator. So question 1 has already been taken. So you have questions 2 till 10 left. So pick an option.
8. I like to choose 8.
Option 8. Okay. So option 8. Toastmaster Kevin, what do you do for fun? I repeat, what do you do for fun? Okay. Over to you.
Okay, let me just tell you what I had to do every day for my life until now. Okay, I wake up in the morning at 6:30. Then I had to prepare my day, brush my teeth, change my clothes. And then I have to drink this terrible drink called Herbalife. If any one of you know what that is, please shout out to me later. Okay, then after all that, I had to bring my boss. My boss is my brother. I forgot to mention that. And then after that, that's when my day becomes chaotic. Now, do you know how to take orders? Because the people that I work with just randomly order from out of nowhere. And then not only that, I also have to talk with my bosses. And you know what happens when you talk to your bosses about money? You get screamed a lot by them. And you can't do anything until your boss agrees. And it takes 1 day, hour, week. I have no idea anymore. So whenever I have free time, I know what to do. I just sit in front of my computer and watch television. I don't need to do anything. I can just watch television, drink my water, and I can calm down. I can laugh, be scared, or be angry for some reason. And that doesn't matter because I am in my own world and I do not have to listen to everyone else screaming at me for another 2 hours, 1 hour. I have no idea how long it will take. So, in order for me to relax and have fun, I don't need to be with anyone else. I can just slowly and take my own time doing what I like to do, watch television. Now, let me finish this so that I can go back to work afterward. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin, for your sharing. So one thing I forgot to clarify earlier, by the way, is that none of the participants I called earlier were aware of the questions that I have set for them. So that is basically a pure demonstration of impromptu speaking. Okay. So thank you once again, Toastmaster Kevin. Next participant, I think this time I'm going to call upon one of our new guests, since we've already had 2 demonstrations. Can I call upon my old friend Awi? Are you ready, Awi?
I'm always ready.
Give us a shot. Faisal, perhaps for our new guest, is it okay to spotlight the timer as well for their reference? Okay. So Awi, once again, I'll just repeat. Green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then red card at 2 minutes. So you'll need to wrap up by then. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So options 1 and 8 have been taken. We've got options 2 to 7 and then 9 to 10. So let me know which one you'd like to take.
The last is always the best, so I'll go for option 10.
Option 10. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So get ready. Yeah. This is the topic. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. This is a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. Do you agree or disagree, and why? So I'm going to copy this and put it in the chat box for your reference.
Okay.
Yeah, so you may start whenever you are ready. The timer will only start once you speak.
Okay, thank you. So the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I certainly agree with this. I think once we realize on how amazing the dream will be, or how beautiful things will be once we achieve our dream, it's bound to happen, because once we see something is so good, it indirectly make us want to give effort to it, wants to give effort in achieving it. I mean, let's say for our university, right? We know how things will be after we get the degree. I mean, our parents will be happy, but I think the beauty of the dream in finishing uni is that we know there will be a whole new life after that. And that's why we give much effort throughout university. Although it's very hard, it's very punishing, but because we see how beautiful it would be, we give such effort to finish it. And for me, even after achieving the dream, say finishing university, it doesn't stop there. I mean, in our lifetime, I think we'll develop more dreams as we move from one stage of life to another stage of life. So I'm in another stage of life, which is a dream in the past 4 years. So I have another dream right now, and that is to be a good leader, I guess. And I'm very happy that I joined this session tonight. It gives me a better insight on how to improve myself as a leader. Actually, I'm leading a club called Reach, where we focus on providing social skills exposure to kids in the rural area. And yes, that's the red timer. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Awi. It was great to hear your sharing, and certainly what you shared, I believe it reminds all of us, Toastmasters or not, about our own journey when we when we look to improve ourselves, especially in terms of self-development and leadership development, right? Okay. So let me check back. 3 questions down. We have 7 questions left. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer within the next 10 seconds before I call out a name? Okay,
I'd like to try one, but I don't know what you're going to give me. But if you think there's a hard one in there, give it to me. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Michael. So the numbers are out. Let me check again. Okay, numbers 1, 8, and 10 have been taken. So you have
4.
number 4. Okay. So let me see. Okay. This is a nice one. So question 4 for Toastmaster Michael. How would you describe your ideal vacation plan? Once again, I repeat, how would you describe your ideal vacation plan? Okay, whenever you're ready.
Madam Table Topics Master, I know exactly what I want to do. I don't even have to plan because I did it and I want to do it again because it was so great. From where I'm at, I fly to Dubai, stay a couple of hours, and then fly to KL. Then when I'm in KL, I spend a nice day in KL City, relaxing, going to a few shops. But the nighttime, I go to the airport and get on another plane and I go to Langkawi, the island off the coast up there by Penang. You go to Langkawi, it is beautiful. I've been there twice. And I especially like when I go there and I stay at the Westin Hotel, it is so relaxing, so comfortable. I don't even take my cell phone with me other than breakfast and then leave it in a room. And in the evening, I check it before I go to bed. All day long, no cell phone. I like to go out to the beach area, walk along the beach. That's always fun. Find a nice place to sit down and relax. Get a little bit of cognac in a glass. Get out one of my favorite Cuban cigars, and I relax in the sun. Cuban cigar, a little bit of cognac, nobody to bother me. It is fantastic. The water may not be the cleanest, but it's still nice to go to the shoreline and walk along your feet where the waves are coming in. Not big waves, small waves, but that's all right. It's just the isolation and getting away from everybody else and doing something that I want to do without a cell phone, without a computer, all day long. That's the way it should be. Check it in the morning, check it at night. Otherwise, everybody else has to wait. I'm not going to answer their calls. And I don't get disturbed. I can watch the stars in the evening. Or I can, during the daytime, watch people in the boats that go down the water going through. Just sit there. Have you ever tried to sit quietly and do nothing but observe? It's amazing. You'd be surprised the things you see. And some of the funny people who are walking down the beach doing funny things, you can watch them too. They're always humorous. They're always doing something that's a little bit different, a little bit unusual. So Langkawi is a place where I want to go. I'd like to go there by myself or take a friend with me. That's okay, as long as a friend agrees not to disturb me during the day. And then relax. Just be quiet. Langkawi is a beautiful place. Madam Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michael. I think having heard you talk about traveling, it just reminded me that for the past 2 years, throughout the pandemic years, the only plane trips I've taken are for work purposes. So I probably should book a flight for a vacation. So that's a reminder to myself. Thank you for your sharing, by the way. So moving on. Let me see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 questions left. And moving forward, is there anyone who would like to volunteer before I start picking names?
Alfincia or Asha, you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Give it a try.
Alfincia or Asha?
Otherwise,
Oh, I see Asha.
Luis
Yeah.
can go. Yeah, Asha. Asha, okay, Asha can go first, then Luis. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Wait, sorry,
Yes,
where
Asha.
was Asha? Yeah. Are you ready, Asha?
Maybe pass to next person.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, we can let Louis do it first. Then
Louis.
yeah.
Okay, Louis, you ready?
Okay, you can see me?
Yep, ready as ever. Oh, by the way, Louis is president of Kidorong Toastmasters Club. So
Hi,
he's a
everyone.
frequent visitor to our club as well, same as Kevin.
Yes,
Both of them are in the same club. So it's good to have you tonight, Louis.
no problem. Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to, okay, going back here, the questions that are available are questions 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9.
Okay, can I have question 2?
Question 2, okay.
Yeah.
Question 2 coming up. So question 2, Toastmaster Louis. Tell us about your favorite childhood memory. I repeat, tell us about your favorite childhood memory. I'm going to paste this here inside the chat group for your reference. So start whenever you are ready. Over to you.
Okay, I think everyone is expecting me to say some exciting childhood that I had. But sadly, if I'm honest, my childhood is pretty boring. Like what my brother Kevin has said, our life is just going to work, coming back from work, watching some TVs, and that's all. That's our childhood. But for me, childhood doesn't need to happen during your teenage year. Now, even though I'm 30 this year, I'm feeling like I'm getting back my childhood. I'm meeting new friends in Toastmaster, in JCI, in our community. So these people brought me to a new places and new experiences in Bintulu. And I'm starting to feel like I'm getting back all my childhood. Firstly, I never know how to swim, but this group of friends brought me to the swimming pool and teach us how to swim. I feel like I'm getting back my childhood. Secondly, they bring me to places like KL, KK. This is probably the first time that I went abroad without my parents. And I feel like, wow, this is what I have been missing from my childhood. So, dear Toastmaster and friends, if you think you didn't have a good childhood, think again. It's never too late to recreate the childhood that you always wanted. So with that, thank you. Back to you, our table topic master, Matilda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Louis. To be frank, I love how you ended your speech with saying, talking about recreating your childhood. So basically taking on opportunities that we probably never had when we were kids. So it's nice to know that you can still create your opportunities regardless of your age. Okay. So thank you once
Thank
again.
you so much.
Yeah. Now moving on. Perhaps we could have around Faisal, is there enough time for perhaps 2 more speakers?
Yeah, yep. There's enough time for that. Yeah. Can
Okay.
have 2 or 3. Yep.
Okay, that's good. Maybe I'd like to call upon Alphencia. Alphencia, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So are you ready?
I'll try.
Okay. So the questions we have left are questions 3, 5, 6, 7, 9.
7.
Number 7. Okay. Okay. So the question is, would you rather be rich or famous and why? I repeat, would you rather be rich or famous and why? I'm going to paste this in the chat box for your reference. So you may start whenever you're ready.
Okay, would you rather be rich or famous? And why? Okay, I'll think first.
Okay, no worries. Well, if Alphencia takes some time to think, Jay, would you like to be the next table topic speaker? So once Alphencia is done, then we can move on to you.
Okay.
Jay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm ready to go after the next speaker.
Okay, so okay, thank you, Jay. I'll call upon you later. Alphencia, are you ready now? Hello, Alphencia?
Hello, yes.
Yep, okay, so ready?
Okay, if I were to be given a choice, I would rather be rich. Why? My dream was, since I was a childhood, was to help people. So in real lifetime, if I get rich, I could help people no matter wherever I go, whatever I do. When I have plenty of resources, I could help people around the world, not just at my own country, not just at my hometown. Yeah. Besides that, I can also donate to the poor and also help all the orphanages. Besides that, also, I can enjoy my life with my family and also my friends by being rich. Yeah. I think that's all from me.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Alphencia. Just curious, have you ever done table topics or something similar before this? Your past experience?
No.
No. Oh, okay. So in that case, I think you deserve a clap from the. You deserve applause from the audience for your effort. Thank you, Alphencia.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see you in future sessions. Join more table topics.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, we have Jay. Jay, you ready? Oh, by the way, the questions that are left are questions 3, 5, 6, and 9.
Okay. Number 3 then.
Number 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3 for Toastmaster J. Who is the most interesting stranger you've ever met? I repeat, who is the most interesting stranger you've ever met? Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat box. So anytime you're ready.
All right. I want to see that in the chat box, the title. Okay. Okay. Who is the most interesting stranger that I've ever met? I would say Bruce Lee to me is a stranger because I've never met him. Although I've seen him many times on video. So to me, he's a very exciting character, very interesting, who is very physical. And also he is very intellectual. When I first heard about Bruce Lee was through the first movie that he made called The Big Boss. And then there was the second one, I think it's called Fist of Fury. And then I've never watched his video until when recently it became available on YouTube. Then as I listened to him, I said, wow, my God, this guy is actually quite intellectual, you know. He's not just a Kung Fu fighter. So he was quite an amusing character and also very interesting. And I would say very intellectual as well. So I would call him, even though he's now very familiar to me through many of his speeches, but he's still a stranger to me because I've not met him, or I've not got to know him personally. But his physical prowess, his ability to speak very naturally, his ability to act very naturally, not only in fighting, but also in his normal conversation. And I find it very fascinating and very enjoyable. So sometimes when I'm free, I would go to the internet and see whether there's some video of him that I haven't watched. So that's for me, a stranger who is very fascinating and exciting to watch. Back to you, our table topic master, Matilda. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jay, for your sharing. I believe Bruce Lee was an enigmatic person, so I think to be able to actually meet him in person back then, that would have been a really interesting experience. Okay, so thank you once again, Toastmaster Jay. We have time for perhaps, moving on, we have time for perhaps 2 more speakers. I think I'll call upon, I'm going back to Asha. Asha, would you like to give it a try? And I think maybe just this once, if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine as well. Maybe you would like to try through voice. Is that all right with you?
Should I give a try?
Oh yes, I'd encourage you to give it a try. Yeah. So we have questions 5, 6, and 9 left. Don't worry. Perhaps one way you can think about when answering the question is think about how you would answer when someone is having a conversation with you. So pretend you're talking to your best friend. We're glad to be your friends as well. So yeah. So questions 5, 6, and 9. Which one would you like to choose?
Number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Okay. Before I read Asha's question, so Faisal, would you like to take on the final question after Asha?
Yep, sure.
Okay. So Asha, I'm going to read out your question, question 5. If you could install only 3 apps on your phone, which ones would you choose and why? So I'm going to repeat again. If you could install only 3 apps on your phone, which ones would you choose and why? So don't worry, take your time, and then you can start whenever you're ready. I'll paste the question here for your reference.
All right, thank you, Matilda. Give me some time to think about it.
Okay, Faisal, while we wait a while for Asha, question 6 and 9 are the only ones left. So let me know which question you want, and then I'll read it to you after Asha is done.
Yeah, I'll pick number 9.
Number 9, okay. Oh, number 9 is an interesting question too. So get ready. So Asha, you're ready? The floor is yours. Yeah.
How to structure the introduction and then goes to the content and then goes to the wrap up, like the conclusion. Can you help me with it?
Oh, okay. If you want, you could start off with perhaps naming the 3 apps you have in mind, and then you just briefly go over the first app, why you choose it, second app, why you choose it, and then third, and then finally just wrap up and perhaps say, so in conclusion, the 3 apps I choose are, let's say, Outlook, Facebook, and Instagram, just for example. I think that would be a good way to start.
Just now you still left one more question, right? other than 9 because 9 was chosen by Faizul.
Yep.
The
The other question
I
is
know?
number 6 is the only
Number
other one.
6.
Okay. So
Can
okay.
I have that question as well?
Oh, as in you want to try 2 questions, is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want to
It's
change
She
the
wants to
question?
pick one. Yeah, she wants to pick one. Yeah,
Oh,
either
okay,
the
okay.
3 apps
Yeah.
or the question number 6. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, Matilda, you can just
I'll read it out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
question 6, what do you look forward to in 2023? So what do you look forward to in 2023?
Much more harder question.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll paste it here for your reference as well. Yeah. So you can choose
yeah.
either one to answer. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
It's okay. You can pretend you're having a conversation with me. Yeah, just look
Wait,
at my face in the view screen.
yeah. Maybe all of you are a stranger to me personally, so I don't know how to start, where to start. Complete stranger, and I don't know how to start. So and then somehow you're asking me 3 types of apps that I would like to install, which is quite personal to us. So
Okay.
I'm trembling now.
Oh, okay. How about we trim it down to maybe one app?
Okay, one
Yeah.
app.
Yeah, just one app. Yeah.
One app. Yeah, because okay. Wait a while. Okay.
You can do it.
Take your time, Asha. Yeah.
Thanks, Faisal.
Mm.
Wait a while, yeah. I need
Yeah,
to
take your time.
get
It's
my
not
strength.
easy. Yeah, it's not easy. I couldn't speak during my first attempt at all. So yeah, it's not easy. But it's the first try that makes the difference.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give my try. Sorry, Jasmine, for making you waiting. Sorry, yeah. Okay. Good evening, all. Once again. Back to Matilda's questions just now. What type of apps that I would like to install in my phone? To me, nowadays we use a lot of social media apps to communicate with people, and I would like to install probably a WhatsApp or Telegram to communicate with people. Yeah, instead of we are using our normal mobile phone to talk or messages, because nowadays we have Wi-Fi everywhere available, so we still can use Wi-Fi to connect with other people without using our own mobile not mobile data, prepaid, something like that. So yeah, it's good to have this this kind of apps for easier communication with our families, with our friends, and as well as to reach out to anyone we want. Maybe. And then the good feature of having these apps is that we not only that we can call through a calling or chattings box, we also can use it as a video chatting as well. So yeah, in a conclusion that nowadays we are moving forward with good technologies, so everyone that is far away from us, we still can connect with them through just this kind of apps, just a simple apps. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Asha. So,
try.
well done.
Okay,
Round
can
of
I-
applause for you,
Yeah,
Asha.
yeah. Can I show my face a bit so that I won't feel awkward?
Oh, okay, okay. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. That was liberating, right? Trying that for your first time. Yeah.
Yep. Because
To be frank
it's
with
hard,
you, yeah.
it's hard to open up with people and you're suddenly asking a question. Yeah. Maybe if something
understandable,
else, maybe if other question just now maybe okay lah, but most of the question is more like personal, so
Sometimes it's quite hard to share, right? Yeah, because you want to separate the personal things from the public. So it takes time to think about what to say.
yeah, because it's hard to speak.
Yeah, but you did well. You did well. Yeah, you explained
Yeah, you deserve a
your
clap.
reasons well.
Yeah, you deserve a pat on the back. Yeah. Thank you, Asha,
A lot better than my
for
first
sharing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, maybe just quickly sharing before I move on to our final speaker, Faisal. To be frank with you, I am super terrified of table topics. So I sort of torture myself by going and visiting other clubs and getting involved with their table topics. I mean, it takes time, but I think with practice, so you'll get there. It's okay. We have faith in you. That's why we're in Toastmasters. Okay. So moving on to our final participant, Faizul, our club president, president of Miri Toastmasters. So your question, are you ready, Faizul? I'm going to read out your question.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Question 9. If you had to teach a class about something, what would you teach? I repeat, if you had to teach a class about something, what would you teach? I'm going to copy and paste it in the chat box here for your reference. So ready whenever you are.
If I had to teach a class about something, what would I teach? Now, the main thing that I would teach is emotional intelligence, developing that emotional intelligence, because nowadays in our class, it's really based on the old model where people are treated like manufacturers, where you are expected to churn in all of those information, history, and all those things. And when you sit for exam, you forget about them. But whereas when you go out there into the real world, most of the time you find yourself working with people. And working with people is a completely different set of skill compared to the things that we learn academically. Emotional intelligence, essentially what it is that it's about knowing yourself, how your emotions or how your own temperament, as well as having the empathy to understand others. Now, empathy is not a very light word. It's about understanding from someone else's shoe. And it is also about the ability to know how to listen to others. Listen to understand, not to reply or to think about the next word, but to really understand the person from the other side and to think about how you can collectively work together with them. Hence, if there's one thing that I would teach in the class, that would be focus on emotional intelligence. IQ can get you so far, but then if you want to go far and fast, you need to work collectively. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. You can't work alone today, but we can work together to face all those different issues together. With different skill set, we can do a lot of things. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Faisal. That was a wonderful sharing. And I also agree on the with the part where you said about everyone working together with different skills and the importance of EQ. as well. So who knows, maybe one of these days you'll be able to lead a workshop for us in MTC.
They're not an expert.
okay. So thank you everyone for your participation. That's the end of our table topics. So wrapping up, I will now pass the time back to Faisal for the rest of the program. So
Yeah.
over to
So
you.
yeah.
Faisal.
So
Thank you.
so the next few things we have is we're going to have a general evaluation from Toastmasters Michael. But before that, just want to call out our timer Jasmine to notify us whether everyone qualified, or just give a very quick overview about how everyone did on the time. You're muted, by the way, Jasmine.
Okay, I don't have to give all the total. I think
Yeah.
the only person that is a bit over time is Michael. He took 2 minutes 48 seconds. All the rest are within the time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jasmine. Michael, over to you.
Thank you very much. And my first report of myself is that I'm over time. That's okay. I don't mind. I'm not going to go over every individual person, but I am going to point out a few things that I thought was very, very good about your table topic tonight. And I'm going to save the best to last. Sometimes for some of you, when you got the topic that you were given, you avoided the topic for almost a minute and a half and then talked about the topic only at the very end of it. In other words, you spoke on something else for a while and then only covered it's about. I recommend if you're going to do that, talk about it in the first few seconds and then finish it at the end. Don't leave it all the way until the end. That's not what you need to be working on. I think some of you needed to identify what you were going to put for impact. As an example, with Sheikh, he talked about working with the youth. I almost did not listen to most of what he said until he said talking with the youth. To me, that was important. That was important. That was good. I grabbed that, and that's what I think you would have talked more about. A few of you, two in particular of you, decided to change the direction of the questions. You were asked a question, you stated what it was, but then you started talking about a different direction. But what you did correct was, at the end, you came back and stated it again, which is fine. You went in a different direction. You talked about, instead of a childhood, you talked about your adulthood. You talked about traveling with parents and so forth, or excuse me, traveling with Toastmasters. You did talk about something that was fun, but it wasn't about your childhood. It was about your adulthood. That's okay. So you're changing directions, which is very, very good. I think all of you need to think about what is going to be memorable. So if I ask all of you a question, when I went to Langkawi and sat on the beach on my chair, what did I have with me? Cognac and a cigar, right? Cognac. I repeated it twice that I had cognac and a cigar. So I made that memorable so that you would remember it. You see, you need to think about, even in table topics, throwing something out there that's memorable. But I think everybody on the screen did very, very well. And I especially like with the Ashe, she was not afraid to say, I need some help. When you ask for help, that is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. That means that you realize you have something that you're not good at and you ask for some help. And that is a very good measure to have. So Ashai, thank you for doing that. That's a very good thing. And last of all, Matilda. Matilda, you've got a place in my heart. It's because your name is the same name as my mother. That's all right. But I tell you what, for the rest of you, if you did not notice, you should have. How did Matilda handle the speakers who had a difficult time? She repeated the question. She phrased it in a different way. She took the patience and the time. She had the EQ that Faisal was talking about. She showed that EQ. She showed that she has emotional intelligence, how to handle somebody a little bit softer if they need that handling, and how to be more abrupt if necessary, but most importantly, how to be softer when somebody needs it and help them. She helped the speakers all through table topics. That is very, very commendable, Matilda. Great job on your part. And I think overall, the club did a good job with table topics tonight. Toastmaster Faisal, back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters Michael, for the very comprehensive overview on the table topics, as well as for the the workshop that you've given us on the overview of the Toastmasters and public speaking. It was definitely a pleasure to have you all the way from Russia. I think you're still there, 5 hours time difference, and of course it's always a pleasure to have you again. Hopefully again someday in the future. So before we conclude, or maybe invite the guests for comments, just a few quick announcements from our end. First of all, we have our next workshop happening next week on Thursday from 8 p.m. So that would be the usual meeting where we have the prepared speeches followed by table topics. And for those who are not members yet, you are more than welcome to join to listen or even to try out table topics. So that would be a good chance for you to try. Or on the other hand, if you feel from today's session that Toastmasters is for you, we do have an offer for those who would like to join us before June, because we are waiving the joining fee before June. And that's about, I think, 100 ringgit joining fee. Yeah, 100 ringgit waived for the joining fee. So for those of you who are interested, feel free to get in touch with myself or Jay. Yep. So yeah, so I think that's about it from my end. And oh, sorry, one last thing. To those of you who are Miri, we are going to have a physical gathering to celebrate Raya and Gawai sometime on 21st of May on Saturday. So I'll share the details in our group. Okay, so before we end and get the feedback from everyone, maybe let's have a quick group photo. So to those of you who do not have your video on, please turn on your video. Yep. Kevin, Jay, Vincia, Rafida, if you're there. Luis, Cynthia, and also S. I don't know who S is.
Hi.
Yeah, Rafida. Yeah,
I think my background is not appropriate to join.
Okay. It's okay, Rafida. No worries. Yeah. Okay, no worries about it. Okay, ready then? 3, 2, 1. Okay, one last one. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So yep. So yeah, that's about it. So before we end, I think I'm mindful of time, 9:59. Maybe just one last feedback from our guests on the session today. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Rafida, since you haven't spoken yet, it would be good to hear from you. Yeah. What are your thoughts or any comments on the session?
First of all, hi everyone.
Hi.
I think I have joined this session. I think it's been a while. I have joined this session somewhere last year, I think.
Okay.
And then quite busy with my work. But today I was impressed to see Mr. Michael, because last time we didn't have international speaker. And I think it's a good exposure to me, and looking forward to join it for next week's session.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Rafida. Looking forward to see you next week, as well as Aisha and Alfincia, or even Shay. If you guys can make it next week. Right. So yeah. So I think that's about it. I'm mindful of time. It's already 10:01. Thanks again, everyone, for joining tonight. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, and have a good evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Faisal, for inviting me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael.